Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the open meeting for the environmental impact analysis of post-actions for the village trip. Now I'll talk a little bit about the definitions of the EA, EIR, and all the other words which are floating around in just a minute. But first, I just want to assure you, there is nothing dangerous going to happen this afternoon. We have the sheriff here. He's actually a Catholic list. I think fully are. So don't worry about that. So let me first just introduce who is actually here. My name is Martin Wegenstein. I'm the CEO of the Valley Resort. To my left is Jim Gendling, he's the CEO of Bear Valley Mountain Resort. And Danny Haslip, who is our FD, maker, and anything else which actually really needs to be done in work. Then, as a gentleman, we have Pat Murray, and she is recreational officer for the Forest Service. So really, our partners is responsible for the mountains on all the activities we are doing. So we are partners in this whole endeavor where we are going with Bear Valley Mountain Resort. Okay? So, what I want to do today is, first, you can look the agenda up. I want to just talk a little bit about a few definitions, because there are a lot of words going around what they mean, EA, EIR. Why don't we just start construction, SNA. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about the process for the EA or EIR very briefly, and then timing. Anything on timing is always subject to change because of the public process. You don't control the public project, construction project from the start to end. It's a public process. So it is a public process, so timing is always subject to change. And then I want to give a quick overview over the key elements of our proposed actions. And then Jim will go into detail after showing you on the map exactly what is right now in discussion with the Forest Service of proposed future actions. And in the process, we'll obviously invite you all to comments. So this is one of two scoping meetings we will have. We'll have one more next Sunday, same place, location. And after that, we will finalize the proposed action with the Forest Service, and then the Forest Service will take it forward through its due process for the rest of the year. So let's talk a little bit about the definition. There are two very distinct actions happening here in Bear Valley. The first one is the partners who bought the mountain and the village, so property in the village, 3.5 years ago, which is Dundee Corporation, Radar Partners, and Tennis Green Incorporated, the three ownership partners, and I work for these partners. They are proposing to do a new development in the village, a new village at Bear Valley, which incorporates an acreage on the parking lots, the current commercial center, etc. That process is right now in the middle of the EIR, Environmental Impact Report. That's a process that will take place anywhere from completion in October or next summer, we don't know. That is a very, very separate process to the process we have up here on the mountain, which is called environmental analysis. That is about the proposed actions for the Bear Valley Mountain Resort, or the ski area. There are touch points. The touch points obviously are the village list. The touch points are where we have runs proposed. We will talk about them into the village, where these two touch. But they are independent processes. The EIR is done through a consulting firm in conjunction with the county. The county is the driver of the EIR. The EA process, we have a consultant involved in that, and it's done through the Forest Service. Stanislav Forest Service. The Forest Service is really the driver of that. And obviously we are trying to keep the two somewhat in sync, because there are two independent processes. So today's meeting focuses on the EA, on the mountain. We had several scoping meetings on the EIR in the village over the last 1.5 years. Some of you might have attended. So briefly on the process,
And Patty actually is much more equipped to know the details, but we'll have a set of proposed actions which will go public from the proposed actions from the Forest Service, probably in about a month and a half. And then there is a public response time of 45 days, 30 days. There are a couple of these cycles of public to respond to it, raise questions, and then it goes through its due process, mitigating actions, etc. And if everything goes roughly per plan, that process we should have a permit for the proposed actions by January of next year, early next year. Okay? And what the proposed actions are, I will talk about in just a minute. The EIR process, on the other hand, will go to the county as an administrative draft from the consultant, not from us, from the consultant, and the county will go public with that in probably the June-July time frame. And then they have their own public hearing process, reply process, etc., etc. If everything goes perfect, which I've never seen, I know Murphy's Law, I'm from the high-tech area, so I know that law very well. It could be October. In all likelihood, there's delays with public hearings, etc. It's going to be sometime next spring or so, if everything goes right. Again, two independent actions. Now, so that's on the process. Any questions on the process? So let's talk a little bit about the timing. What are some of the key actions? Then, Jim, do you want to put the map up? Jim will actually go into detail on all of the actions. So we are looking at some improvement in really 4 areas. Three areas, sorry. One is some lift improvements. The most notable you all have heard of is a connection lift in the village lift, which will be from downtown village up to Kuala Rock. And we'll talk about in detail where that is. And the second key improvement on the lift is in the proposed actions is a replacement of super pump. We have the issue here of not sufficient beginner terrain, and if you come up on a big weekend here, if you look at where the contentions are, it's on the top super pump. So we are proposing actually, as one of the actions, to upgrade super pump to a detachable wall in roughly the same area where it is today. It might shift a little bit in alignment, but that's not defined yet. But replace the super pump. So that's in BCA we'll be proposing. That's on the lift side. On the lodging side, we are proposing a bare top facility. Obviously, eating facility, not a sleeping facility. I'm joking. So it is an eating facility. So a bare top facility with a nice deck. I'm Swiss, so I obviously have a vision for that. It's a little Swiss chalet. And I think Jim has a Colorado chalet. I believe the Swiss chalets are nicer.
But we all agree on a nice terrace.
Terrace, that's exactly right. So that's the second item on the second item is really on the lodging facility. We are obviously also looking at improvements in this facility, but that's not really part of it because we already have the permit for that on the master plan. Then the third one is we are proposing a series of new runs or enhanced to the current runs. And I think that is actually really exciting. When you see it in detail, Jim walks you through what we're talking about. We are looking at improving some of the current runs, such as overrun, lunch run, have better exits into the village, so you don't have home runs on that little uphill, but you can actually ski all the way down. We are looking at improving some of the high beginner intermediate runs from the top, bare top Kuala, down back to the lodge to make true beginner runs, which they are today not. They are not. And we are proposing a set of new runs from Kuala Top and Kuala Bear Top Bridge back to the village, taking advantage of the village lift, number one, to go back, but also opening up the village facilities for day skiers. Today, if you want to go down there, you have to take a bus back, which would be a tedious process. They don't take the hour right. they might stand there on certain days for 45 minutes. And so the village they feel obviously afford us the opportunity that the backside becomes ski, part of ski terrain as well for skiers. So we have not only enhanced the home run, lunch run, but also additional new runs from Qualica and from the Ridge, commonly known to the locals as apple bunker, schoolhouse runs, and runs along the Koala access grade, or the sewer line, or whatever we're going to call it. So we'll talk about that in more detail. I think there's some exciting new runs coming, and with the village that we can ski right into the village that can come back up here. A great opportunity for the village as well, for all the businesses there, because it opens the businesses up to the day skiers here. Go down there for lunch, or have lunch up here, go down there shopping, or shop up here, etc. So it gives more diverse opportunities for our day skiers. We also for the homeowners, it's ski in, ski out, which we have never had. We have to get ski out and ski in. So I think with that, I'd like to turn it over to Jake to go through that. And if you have questions, you will start raising or load them. We want to then document all the questions we have so we can incorporate as it goes in. Thank you very much.
Yeah, as we review this plan, I don't propose to have all the answers. That's why we have Ashley to write down some of the questions. So if I get this blank look in my face, I would encourage you to get that, just to make sure that we're not missing, and we can incorporate that into the review process. And then you'll also have, as Martina said, in the release of the environmental assessment, there's a scoping process for 30 days where the public can review and make comments to the Forest Service. What we're doing today is called a front loading of the system. We want to know public comment, public concerns with this proposal, so we get those kind of addressed up front. So when we get into the EA process, we're not resurfacing in totality. We kind of knock off some of those bowling pins ahead of time. Good? Okay. A little further into the, not further in the process, more about the process is, of course, this is kind of our wish list that we work with the Forest Service very closely on. It's actually ends up to be a Forest Service proposal that gets released. So it goes, so I'm not going to have the answers. We're engaging you to help us visualize what's good, what's bad. And the other part of it is, hey, what's good, what's bad, what's best for the mountain, what's best for the village. Highway 4, Northern California, the Sierras, all of California, to the whole nation, because this is a federally driven process. Referred to as NEPA. And there will be a release to the Federal Register in this process?
In this case, it doesn't have to go to the Federal Register because it's an environmental assessment, but it will be out available to the public, and when we get it done, it will be in the Bear Valley Library.
Thank you. So they're about, and I'm not sure if we can blow this up by any more.
Is there any potential that them or turkey rights in the front zones that it loses out the picture?
Yeah, they'll all go off. That might help. See what happens.
As long as you can see.
Circulate that around.
That helps a lot.
Which part? The blowing out of the lights?
The lights.
Yep, keep it up.
I don't sure.
Yeah, we'll start with the village.
I want to let you know that there's
So I'm going to start with the village lift, which is probably the most exciting component, and Carlos driving most all the other aspects of it. This is about 15, 16, I should have put half and half. There's probably 16 or 17 different components that we're going to be working with. The village lift, this is some orientation. So we are, where are we? We're down here today. Village here. Bear Top. Right. So, village lift, if you walk around in the summertime, you'll see some staking going on out there. We've got the whole village lift line marked all the way to Koala Rocks. And this is, oh my God, what's going to happen to Koala Rocks? It's a sacred ground. We don't intend to disturb Koala Rocks. We'll probably be just to the skiers right of Koala Rocks. On the elbow there, valley. So the top of the lift is the Koala Rocks and near Koala Top. Where it crosses from private land to forest lands, it will take about a 3-degree bend in the line to actually make the Koala Rock. If we were to run it straight up, you would end up at the vehicle maintenance shop. You don't think that's 15 over there. And if you say, okay, so why aren't you going to Bear Top? Or why aren't you going someplace else? When you start to swing that lift more in excess of 5 degrees, you need a mid-station terminal, or you need to be able to bend it, because you have to slow the stairs down, you take them off the line, turn the lift, speed them up, put them back on the line. And it's the cost of that, you might as well buy 2 lifts. So there'll be a little bend here, 3 degrees, hardly noticeable, over 2 or 3 towers, 1.21 degrees per tower. With the village lift, departing here is the return of the top drive, and because of the bend of the lift can only spin one way. So the lift will spin counterclockwise. It'll be 8,100 feet long, 2,400 feet per hour. It is a detachable quad. Lift is not a gondola, it's not a chondola. Chondola being some chairs, some gondola cabins. We're only running about 1,000 feet a minute at maximum capacity. The manufacturer says 8.1 second ride to the top. Realistically, it's probably
8.1 seconds.
minutes. Yeah, minutes. All right.
Otherwise, we could have run everything.
Thank you. 11 seconds is super good. We'll have 177 carriers if it's built at capacity at 2,400 an hour. There's some flexibility. We can start the lift at 1,800 an hour depending on what capacity the lift needs to be to start. So top terminal, top drive at Koala, so the village area won't have the motor room, won't have the drive down city. It's really quiet. It's like standing around the bottom of Polar Express, you have noise from here. From the top of Koala, then on the return back into the village, Martine talked about a lot of trail changes or modifications. The East Bowl, let's start with the skiway. This perimeter boundary here is the current utility road. And the utility road has our wastewater line on it. It's heavily traveled in summertime by mountain bikers. I think it's got some cross-country activity, it's got some snowmobile activity. Although it's not downhill all the way, it does some of these. But if you look at the sewer line, because the sewer line has to more or less to go downhill. So it meanders a little bit off the road. And that has that 3 to 7% grade we need for the beginner trail. Where we call it beginner trail, but it's actually a novice trail. So there would be, you get up along the village lift. If you're going to go back, if you're a novice skier, you can go through this trail section right here, which is going to cut through the perimeter of the vehicle maintenance shop. Drop onto the road. You'll be able to take that road all the way back into the village. So what that does, then that opens up an East Bowl pod of probably 45 to 60 acres of additional skiing. Relatively short, where it will be like skiing Koala lift, actually. So 400 or 500 500 or 600 vertical feet down from this top of the road. Jump on the road, you scoot back into town, get on the lift, and come back to the top.
Yeah.
Moving back towards the west, everybody familiar with some of these that really aren't on a map yet. Schoolhouse Ridge and Apple Walkers. The schoolhouse off of the top of our ridge top, all that all of a sudden becomes skiable. This area, so picture this, there's 3 kinds of land in Bear Valley. There's open space, common area, and private. Private would be the homeowners. Open space is actually county land, and the common areas are actually controlled by the village itself. Picture a hand. If you're standing at Bear Valley Village and you're looking up the lift, and picture your left hand and thumb and 4 fingers. So this area right here, if you look at your hand, this would be the thumb, and these are the 4 fingers. The thumb and this first finger are open space. The three fingers are common areas. In open space, we've got county, a letter to the county requesting permission to use that open space as ski terrain, which would allow us to get back down to Creekside Road, which then takes us back into the village. And if at some point in time we come either under the lift line, depending on Black Forest and their development, we could go on either side of Black Forest to get back down to the bottom of the village road. Same thing, so schoolhouse and a certain flow here is going to take everything over the thumb. Again, the thumb on this area. This yellow line is the ski area boundary on the mountainside, of course, and village on the other side, town on the other side. So these fingers, this finger right here is an arrow that see it's kind of been a little bit of drainage. Probably not going to be real usable from our standpoint. These two are the ones we're kind of focusing on, working with the BVRI. Some language allows permission to have roads to be skiable. And there's this one over here to the side where there's not really visualized right now as skiing, but we have here because maybe it could be someday. So that's the apple blonkers feed. So from Bear Top, currently we have home run lunch run. So that opens up essentially this whole pod of skiing. Upwards of maybe 800 acres eventually. 800, I think, includes the lower portion of East Bowl, which we're out proposing at this time. Maybe some tree clearing in some of these areas, so there will be tree clearing to open it up enough to make it skiable. I envision if you looked, walk up from, or skied up, or snowmobiled up from the village up towards the dam, up the waterway, the inside dish there. We've got a lot of high limit, which really opened that up. That's kind of what we envision this area, these areas to be. Not a lot of, not massive clear cutting, just going in and making it open enough to ski. And the benefit of all that, and I'm not sure which will come first, is the fire mitigation, fuels mitigation. Bear Valley Village is experiencing a lot of mitigation right now, fuel. The star you see right here, this is lunch run. And this star is a pretty critical and key component to the return to the village. And we're recording it right now at Chuck's Traverse on the tennis gator. When you ski down home run now, you come to this home run lunch run now, you come to this hairpin in the forest. And from here, to get up to the intersection, it doesn't look like it's uphill, but if you've got a slog back and it's 55 degrees out, peeling off clothes, it's uphill. So by putting it in, a lot of people will stage right, a number of areas between this proposed traverse and here. And a lot of them go by a couple of those homes in there. This traverse that we're proposing, Chuck's Traverse, is right at the junction of two landholders, private landholders. And they have verbally given us a willingness to work with us and saying, okay, that makes sense. Let's make a traverse through here and get up onto Snowshoe. And from Snowshoe then, we're back down, it's a straight shot, it's a downhill glide back into the village, no more uphill. That's the significance of this. So you're on the Snowshoe and you're right back to the intersection here, and then it's the glide back into the bottom of the village, the town. So now we've talked about the village lift, we've talked about East Bowl, and very little clearing has to come to East Bowl. I'm trying to keep it going. I've probably skied it in the last 2 years, probably 30 or 40 times, just going out there thinking about trail layout and returns and how to make all that come together. And every time I get it, I say, wow, I don't have to cut anything. This is great. This is great skiing. This is great late skiing. It's got that nice southern exposure, so you have to be careful of the time of year, time of day you get in there. But it's very, very fun skiing. There are a lot of big, and the big trees, the big rocks and boulders, and the things to ski around are a lot of fun. We talked about East Bowl, we talked about the skiway connection back to the village. We got the thumb to get us back onto Creekside Road. Talked about the bottom terminal. Lunch run, home run, not long as well. So that's kind of what's happening on the village side. Comments on that aspect?
Do you perceive more visitors coming in over the village side or running up this way?
In other words, yeah, the village list will have, will probably not be designated. If you look at our list here, we have designations of what they, trails they search. At this time, we don't know if there'll be a circle on that list. Most likely, it'll be an intermediate access list.
But I think if I understand your question right, there, in the village EL are days, no additional parking for day skiers. So day skiers will park up here, and the village, people with condos, will park in the village. The village is not going to be designated for day skier parking. What it allows the village to do is that day skiers can actually ski to the village, take advantage of the service, and take the village back home. But that's a very strong distinguishing item. The village will not add parking for day skiers. So that will be stay as this is.
But I think the question is, what if we don't have green trails, truly a green trail? So the first day, second day, third day beginner probably won't be able to access the mountain from the village without riding the bus. Taking it.
Or the village may back.
And that's what we're
Will
calling
be downloadable village. Yeah, so you can download it up.
So that's why we're not really calling it beginner skiing, because it's novice. So it's at low, intermediate, or high beginner. Should be able to negotiate base trail on the return. And there's another piece right here called water tank and bonos, proposed to widen and recontoured. And you go down the water tank now, there's come down here, walk back, or bonos opens up, and there's two bowls. And we propose to recontour those two bowls, and so you don't have a steep pitch. You take the cap back, you take the high spot, and you put it below spot, and we're going to regrade that to a novice. So now, first time player, it's a novice, and then more of an advanced.
How will you control day skiers not parking in the village? Talk back.
Same as today.
Well, it's going to change though, because with the lift in the village, there's going to be a new added interest in people.
So that is part of the EIR, how they will control that, not part of the EA.
Oh, okay.
That is part of the EIR process. Yeah. There's a whole transportation study on that. It's actually online at the county. The transportation study for your parking, that's already published.
Oh, okay.
It's at the county website.
So we're not planning on selling tickets?
Yes, we do. As an entry point, we will have, because people who will come for overnight need to buy tickets. Which, by the way, we have today. We already sell tickets at the lodge. We sell tickets at the sports shop. We probably have a ticket counter at the, I would envision as delicious.
I envision to be a full back on the mountain.
Sounds like you're hitting maybe one demographic, you get skiers. Are there any future plans for more advanced runs?
Well, that's
Like a whole new valley on the back side here, possibility that like bowl.
You're talking about Ross Valley? You may not.
On the other side of the
Take it
express
wrong.
here.
Jump wrong.
Wait, let me just take a shot. So since I've been here, it's my third winter. I've been over to Kings Realm, I've been up there, it's fantastic seeing it, it's great, it's as dynamic to the mountain for sure. But on the other side of that ridge is Columbia Wilderness area. And we feel that it's important to maintain a buffer from the wilderness area. And the give and take on that is, well, we're going to lose. It's not in our permit now. We would have to request to go into the permit, which would be an unbelievable battle, I think, with the environmental position. Because it's so close to the wilderness area. So Kings Realm, that's my.
But you have thought about it and
Well,
future possibilities.
let me answer that way. When Bear Valley was owned by the Rasmussens, we started a long-term master development plan process, expansion EIS, environmental impact statement. That whole area was analyzed along with Round Valley Service made the decision in 1991, I believe, to approve Eastville. We did not approve what we call Grouse Valley, which is where you're talking about at Kings Round. We did not approve Round Valley for a lot of reasons, which I can talk to you about later in detail if you want, but there were some very good reasons for that. So that has already been analyzed and is not up for consideration anytime in the near future. So, there you go.
Yeah, what you just said, it's an act of Congress, bring that back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but there were good reasons, and if you really want to research that, you can go to the Bear Valley Library, and there is a copy of the environmental impact statement from 1991, and it goes through all 5 alternatives that were considered and the rationale for why we recommend the decision. But I can talk to you later, you can call me down after the line.
So there is another item, and I think with the realistic opening up above the schoolhouse, the Upper East Bowl, that whole terrain adds an incredible amount of intermediate and advanced terrain. That's a significant amount. Today, when I look at the skier base with congestion, I think we have a very high proportion of intermediate and advanced terrain as compared to beginner intermediate terrain. Actually, we have more. We have more in the lift capacity as well. So if I look at, for the next 4, 5, 6 years, our problem is not advanced terrain, especially with that terrain added. Our problem is to have really beginners trails that come down from the various tops as well. And I've never seen really congested. And I have skied for 15 years now. But yeah, it's a good question. It looks beautiful out there. But it's not part of the
whole new
event.
demographic, not just one that you're targeting, but the whole Bay Area people that have outgrown their valley are heading to Tahoe because there doesn't offer that many advanced runs that will get this Grizzly Bowl. That's one bowl.
Well, actually, I don't agree with that. I think we have a percent of total acreage. We have more advanced terrain than most, if not any Tahoe resort. Which Grizzly open? If Grizzly not open, I do agree with you. It's Grizzly open. And here we are adding a significant amount of advanced terrain.
How much cat skiing?
It's not even perfect.
It's not even perfect. It's not even perfect.
Anything else on the flip side? Comments?
As a grandfather who's been logging little ones around, are you going to do something about access points for beginner chairs? Because it's torching.
Well, you have to extend the, what we call it, magic carpet, so we can access the chair. You're doing a new chair, center. That's greatly into Super Cup. While it says Panda, this dashed line is actually going to be upgraded from Super Cup into a quad, lack of a better high-speed quad, similar to Bowler, similar to the Village lift, but servicing the beginner area. This lift will be in approximately the same alignment as Super Cup is today, but bringing the bottom terminal back down into the flats so you don't have to adjust it. The 2 hardest runs on out are getting to Super Cup and getting off the wall. 2 double dimes for beginners. So that would take our Cub lift would be a standby backup lift on capacity, and the new Super Cup at 2,400 people per hour potentially is about 15% more than Cub Super Cup runs combined. Plus, it slows down for a load to about 12 seconds to get on the chair instead of 6 seconds. It's almost twice as much, but maintaining capacity, keeping in line for those kids. So that was a great lead. We were looking to try have a vision that wasn't actually that this summer. That's not
Since you brought up Qualified, have there been any creative ideas applied to how to make that a little more gradual? Because that terrorizes a lot of skiers.
Martine's vision is of all things he wants to change, the mountain koala keeps coming up. And we went through this with him
That's there,
again.
1 hour session.
Of why we can't. And when the sheriff, so it's a ton of mountain, right? So those stuff in the mountain. And the chairs go through the unload terminal, and they go out to that bowl rail, across the trail, and they come back. And by ANSI code, and the ANSI is going to be international standards, you can't have to have 13 feet between bottom of chair and snow surface. And when they built that lift, they didn't accommodate for that. So 13 feet comes together with a snow cap kind of under it, so cat's not catching cable, catching people. So that lift can change maybe 3 inches in angle because of the cable that goes across. Everything's driven up with the cable. So to change that cable, we have to reconstruct essentially the whole upper lift. So it'll be new towers, it will be a new configuration, and it's probably it's $100,000.
The reason that one is worse than the other riglets have all the same construction, where you unload under the chair, duck out, and the chair goes above your head. That's the riglet. The other one is actually the bull wheel is slightly higher as where you unload. That one goes straight out and slightly down. So you have to get down, otherwise people get.
So you look at Cub Super Cub, they go to those buildings. Those buildings are actually elevated up high
on the hill.
So, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but those are like 22 feet up, and the wall is like 15. So they're missing 4 feet there to be able to stop that. So how little is beginners using can you do this for beginners? So we'll just use, now when you say beginner, I like to use the word novice.
Let's say a 4-year-old.
So we just talked about the super cub replacement. I'll go back to koala top, and the top of koala is the recontouring of water tank with the novice access. It'll be no more, it'll be no steeper than what the terrain on super cub is today.
That's one of the proposed actions. It'll be great.
It's still getting off the stuff.
Yeah, but you can also come up Puma over.
So that's flawed. Okay, so let's talk about the other. Let's talk about the other 2 potential options we have. So now from Puma, right? So one of the basic dynamics of listing the mountain is access to the top. We send all the intermediates and a bunch of experts and novice skiers up to them, and we encourage them to go forward. They cycle over there on the backside all day long, and they take from 8:30 in the morning till 10:30 to get there. But at 3:30, they're all coming back, and they all come back via Northwest. What we're proposing is 2 additional modifications to existing trails to try to accommodate and give more novice access, more green access off the top. One that's hard to grasp is this trail right here. And this is a spring gap. It's taking the spring gap and lowering the lava cap at the top, lowering that about 8 feet, taking that fill and widening the spring gap by about 10 wide, now it's 25 to 30 feet wide. As it cuts through this island of trees, this would be 40 here and Ruby Gully here. So we would widen this, call that upper spring gap. And there'll be some tree removal there, and the trail opens up, drops down. So right now it's a pretty steep pitch coming in, so we're dropping at 8 feet and accepting the novice. As we cross 4 inches, where everybody gets a lot of anxiety. Well, there's going to be a big drop, big road cut, big ledge there. Well, no, I don't envision that changing at all. You go up there now, you look diagonally across the spring gap. That's probably one of the widest beginner trails we have here. And it's humongous. It doesn't have to change. And as you cross and enter back into the trees, again, it's got some steeper pitches in there, opposed to those 2 to cap those, recontour, take the high spots, put the low spots. As you only go down Spring Gap now, you go down, and then you have to actually come up again. We would propose to take that, again, that cap, that high spot here, and round these corners off and raise up. And again, that would be essentially a notch strip. The other one is Bear Top, come down, you'll call me west. And here's the security boundary, down here are the zones.
yeah.
And we dip this trail and cut, widen where it narrows, so you come down northwest and it really narrows down. Where it narrows, it comes in kind of halfway down that steep pitch. By recontouring closer to the edge of the boundary, the security boundary, we could lower that and come in the bottom of that pitch. And the trail gains more consistent, not as great, not worried about the steepness. You know, at the end of the day, that pitch is big bumps, and it's all rutted out, and it's a lot of crap. So we now have added 1, 2, 3 novice trails, or beginner trails off the side. Which then, beginners get to the top. We're going to can't do that. Any questions on those trail concepts?
Touch run, basically grading, contouring, gravity feed, is that on the radar as well?
It has been on the radar.
It's a good thing to get it on.
Can't quite do that.
A little uphill.
The other in association, sounds like you're doing some contouring grading and needing to work with the Forest Service to get the permission to do all that. Flat spot on the grizzly chair, where it goes to take your foot out of your snowboard and pedal across that flat spot, that could get graded in such a way that that's gravel fed and logical. As well, as part of this problem, because beginners don't like that, experts in snowboarding don't like it either. And I don't know, has that got on the radar? Because that's that could be done with snow as almost, but that on the radar. If you've got a D9 out there doing work, let's see if we can ramp that up.
Okay, only a few things left. So we kind of talked a lot about lifts. Through lift configuration, we talked about a lot of the steep returns and steep routes. We're kind of getting down into where we are with facilities and the building story. I'm not sure which I'm more excited about, the Bear Top or just changing this building. There's a proposal.
This building will not be in the year.
Okay, so
So we already have approval for that. It's part of the master plan. It doesn't need any new action to make changes to this building on this footprint. So it's not going to be in the proposed actions because there are no proposed. You know, these are all things which are new addendums, changes to the previous approved master plan from '95. So things which are already in the master plan, we can do anytime.
So now I'm excited about Bear Top. The Bear Top facility, of course, right now is a restroom. Over time and in years past, I've complained a lot about what they used to do up there for the serving sandwiches and hot cocoa and coffee and as much energy as children had at the time as to how much they served at the top, whether it was a full-on barbecue. Then they kind of got away from that for a variety of reasons, whether it was health department, it was transportation, manpower, labor, just the general strategy. Book, Sorry, sidebar here. Was the restaurant in the original?
Yes, it was EIS, yes.
Yeah, that's,
It wasn't DIS?
Yes.
so, we'll talk about that before.
No,
Okay, all right, we'll talk about it. So anyways, it could be upwards of a 12,000 square feet, nice terrace, located up there on that bare top cloud, someplace trying to capture, we're all in, we're kind of going like this right now. No, Macaulay Canyon's prettier than Spanish Rock Canyon. No, we should face this way, no, we should face that way. We know exactly where it's going to go up there. We also have to configure it, so if we ever change Kuma and Bear, what's the best location to accommodate Kuma and Bear with the idea of roller coasters?
and potentially Grace, if we ever have a Grace going all the way to top. So we want to put it in a place where it will not interfere with any future long-range live change plans. So that's what we're looking at. There are a couple spots we can put it on. One is really overlooking Dardanelles, and one is overlooking McCollum Peak and the whole McCollum River area.
But I heard back to daylight, because that was still pretty,
Right.
even though this is approved, this is approved food.
Right.
But we have everybody knows what this building is and what it can do and what it specifically can't do on our busy days. But part of the proposal is, to make this building so it adequately services the crowds of the day and those peak days. We're going to build, we call it Easter Sunday, which here Easter Sunday is not a famous day. We're going to build it on December 26th, probably not. But we need to do more than what it is today. So this building and the Bear Top Lodge all kind of have to cheer from what's going to happen in the village. When the village comes online, and there's additional eating services, and rental services, and ticketing services, and snow sport services. And, I don't know, we have no vision of what the hours going to represent on there yet for retail space. Will that take away from our need here? Will it take the pressure off this building? Will it downsize Bear Top? We don't know a lot of those pieces. But part of the strong structure here was a temporary fix to get a little more seating in this building until we know what the village is going to do for us when it comes online. So there's probably a thorough question on building.
I hate to bring it up with childcare, is what I just keep hearing about. Have you guys been able to figure that out for next year?
So there are really two items. One is purely for next year childcare. Yes, it is in our plan that we get a location, get a permit for that. That we will have to do that. We cannot force the permit on us yet to get it. We're going to get again a fully licensed childcare center, not a babysitting service, childcare center. So that's on our summer plan. In terms of the lodge, of the day lodge, what we are looking at right now are really have a guest services area where my vision is where people, a family can come in and they have everything available at that entrance. They can rent skis, boots, snowboards, boots, get tickets, can go directly to your childcare, to Ski Bear, which is a 4 to 8-year-old crowd, or to ski school. So all these things service have to be in one area, and we are looking at some great configuration of this building to actually accommodate that. Some remodels, some upgrades, so that we really have a family-friendly or a people-friendly. I call it parking to trail ASAP. So we get from parking to a trail as fast as we can without wasting time of trying to navigate through this building here, trying to go upstairs. There's the 2-year-old on the left side. We have to get the snowboards outside if it snows. On the right side we get skis, and if we have a toddler we have to go out in a tent. We want to remediate all of that. That falls together obviously with our thinking what's going to happen in the village, because we don't want to overbuild up here in square footage when we have also facilities in the village, food facilities, and we are building something on Bear Top. So we are actually bringing that all together right now in our planning process. But yes, that will change, and childcare is an essential part of it. That clearly it was a real shame we didn't have it.
It was pretty disappointing when Alpine County Building Department came through and
Didn't give us a permit. We had the state permit for the Nelson County fire permit, which we had in the past. It was too late in the season to get it. Question over here?
These additional, so we've got lifts, trails, buildings, and something again near here, very sort of is parking. And we didn't overflow this year, we didn't overflow last year. 2 years ago, 2 years, 3 years when I first went here, we overflowed 2 times for sure, and maybe 4 times. So we proposed to, this is called the RV lot, we drive through the parking lot, there's a little stand shed right here. We're proposing about 200 additional spots here at Superior. One by expanding the RV lot, and the second portion of the expansion is when you come around, the Snoopy's hangar is where it narrows down, you get twists on both sides, block twists on both sides. Is on the other side of that, so that'd be Snoopy's hangar right here. On the other side is just widen that, so right now we parallel park, and we can gain twice the capacity, parking capacity here by just widening about 10 feet, and we can diagonal parking there, double the amount of cars that go here. Which will eliminate the need to go to the village. What did I say?
What about the possibility of skiing to that spot instead of having to jump on the shuttle?
Yeah, that's something we've been working with a lot this year. Actually, there is a
Cat trail.
the water tank is right in here. There's that cat trail we use to access Bridge Road. Just to come up with some signage and some additional ski backs in there. We had a great idea. Previous year I worked there, we had parking probably parked miles away, and we were able to get three rows of signs. It was amazing how quickly people, once you put a sign there, people can figure that out. And we'd much rather get on our buses and make everyone see that cars. Sure.
Won't the lift to the village though alleviate some of that parking issue? Yeah.
So the lift to the village will alleviate a relatively small portion. We actually estimated based on the current population of the village, not the expansion, that we would have, that there are about 190 traffic analysts that don't ask me how they got the number, but they estimate that about 190 cars less on each day go from the village to the mountain. So we gain about 180, 190 parking spaces on the mountain by the village. They would, instead of driving up, they would take the lift.
I just know from personal experience when we have a household of guests,
Right.
every single guest is taking a car.
That's right.
And it's always during those.
So that is in our study, will be the proposed action, actually, now, it's about 190 cars.
So-
That's the estimate.
That's-
That will be gained.
That's based on essentially the resident. We anticipate there's a certain amount of residents, like your friends that may not drive the car to Superior because the lift is right outside the door. So you get on the lift, you leave your car in town, that's one less car in the car park up
And
here.
these people already have parking in the village, so it doesn't add parking in the village. Except for daytime.
So, but it has parking up here though, because you have taken, because those 6 people who stay with you, there are 5 cars, are not taking spots here. So this is a net gain of 200 plus the potential 190, not additional, so it's 390, almost 400 cars more we can park here. We think on the busiest day that we send cars to the village, maybe Denver knows different. We thought maybe 100 to 150 cars on the peak day that we send them. It feels like 400, but it's not. Anything else?
Okay, thanks. So, first of all, I appreciate your input. I think there's some very valuable pieces which you learned there about run, etc. I want to mention one more item. I want to get back to your advanced runs because I'm the same from the same lot. I love Grizzly. That's one reason I became here 15 years ago. Anything outside the boundaries, which is legally assessed. Good answer. So we actually have for that area a plan, which is not part of the, proposed action. What we are working with the Forest Service right now as to patrol the state in Zolini is to get a permit to have guided tours in the zones. If you know the zones, if you have ever looked at them, you can't go there, it's hard out of line, but look at them, it is superb skiing. I've been there with the patrol because we patrol it and we go avalanches there. It is superb skiing. So what we're planning to do guided tours, it's not open skiing because it's highly avalanche dangerous. If you don't know how to get out, you end up in the Colony River, which is a very bad spot to end up because there's no way out. Hike or hours and days. But no? Yeah. So we are looking at, we're working with Patty and Forest Service people to actually get a permit to do outbound skiing, guided tours into the zones. And then we will do that on certain days, obviously. And so when I had, you might have heard on my website, on my blog, that we had fresh tracks or early tracks this year. I took people out at 7:30 skiing in fresh powder. That is sort of the beginning of what we are trying to envision, some outbound skiing for advanced skiers. It's for advanced skiers only. So that's just sort of something in the future. We might offer that next year. This year we couldn't get it together. So we're on the process. But I think everybody wants to make it happen. So just there's a lot of we have always to find evac routes. You know, what do we do when there's an accident? So high we have to find there. But it would be guided tours. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Early tracks are a lot of fun.
Again, I'm Patty Clary with Forest Service. I just want to let everybody know how much cooperation that the mountain has given the Forest Service and vice versa, trying to design some projects here that are going to meet the needs of everybody and maximize the amount of new terrain, the amount of novice and beginner skiing areas, because that's what this, we're out of balance there, and there is more advanced skiing here than at most mountains. The good thing about opening up this new terrain at Happy Walkers and Schoolhouse Ridge is that's advanced skiing early in the year before business is open. So we've tried to take everything we could possibly think of and design this project. So your input is really welcome if you find a way that we can improve on what we've sat down and met and talked so we're pretty good friends now. So it's all been really good, but you can always use suggestions. So what I want to make sure everybody leaves here knowing that your comments, your suggestions, your questions, that's why you're here today, so we can get information from you. We give it to you, but we're doing that so you can give us information back. So I think, Martina, if you're going to have everybody sign in, and so we know who is here. This is an important part of the legal process we need to go for environmental planning. We need to know that we've talked to the public, we've presented them with the project, and that they provided us with input. If you like it, that's good to know too. If parts of it you don't like or you think we can do better, let us know now so we can design it into the project or develop an alternative that takes that into consideration. So please don't leave here without giving them out your name, email address, or phone number, somewhere we can get a hold of you. So the process is we're going to go out with a scoping letter to everybody who expressed interest. So that means you'll get the scoping letter if you express interest today, and that will be coming out by hopefully the end of next month or the next 4 to 6 weeks. You'll have 30 days to comment. That's when your comments are important. That's where you say, I really like how you designed this part, but did you consider this? And then we can go, oh, no, we didn't. So we can put that into the document. So your input is important. We are going to listen to it. And then after that, if you have expressed interest, you will get a copy of the environmental assessment. So you can look and see where your comments were addressed. Oh, yeah, here they considered it. Maybe they didn't agree with it, but they considered it. So please give them the information if you want to stay involved, and hopefully you all do. So thanks for coming today. I appreciate the cooperation with us and these folks.
Yes.
Well, after you accept the comments, I understand you have a 30-day waiting period. Why does it take so long after that period to start?
It doesn't always take long. It depends on if you, as Jim mentioned earlier, front-loading the process. That means where we have tried to consider everything that could possibly be considered. All of the issues or concerns that could possibly come up, And we try to design a project that meets all those, and then we present it to you folks. This is everything we could possibly think of.
And that could take into
No, this is it, okay? So what we're doing now is because we have front-loaded it with all this information that we think we need, and then we can supplement with whatever information you can give us, then the process was your. It's when we just kind of throw something out generically and go, here, we're going to do this, and you get way too many amorphous comments back that you can't deal with. So we try to be as specific as we can be and design it in as much detail, present it in as much detail, so that you truly understand what we're trying to do, so you get meaningful comments out.
But to your question, before completion, let's say we have a permit for the course of everything, after that commentary is over, and all the questions have been answered, there is an environmental analysis that has to take place. So there's, that process still has to go through as well, to make sure that the environment is all sound. And what has to be done is the environmental mitigation process. That's why it goes through questions. So that there are several steps afterwards. It's not over with this 30-day commentary.
Yeah, we'll take the comments and we'll design the EA, environmental assessment, and I think that should go fairly quickly. And the environmental assessment hopefully will be done by the fall.
Yes, I'm innovation. I just want to see groundbreaking.
I would like to mention a big portion of what needs to occur here is summertime field studies. We spent the last 2 summers with consultants and environmental consultants looking at the fin fern feather, but looking at the endangered species, sensitive species, indicator species for flowers and amphibians and carnivores and everything. So we're front loading to that point. Is when we initiate this, we're going to go on EA. Then next summer we'd be doing the field studies, and the summer after that we would then. So we've already done all that work. So while it seems like it takes an absorbent amount of time, we're half done.
But I think what we didn't mention is that hopefully the lift is going in 09. Is that correct?
So the lift has potential to start, it's a 2-year project to construct the lift. So it's not a one-season construction like the backside. And the lift will go in, however, the lift will go in when the village construction will start, not before. The two are, from an economic perspective, we are trying to do together. So we are not building a lift without the village EIR complete, village construction started. And the village takes 2 years to construct well until we have time. So the two are tied together because the village is in support of the lift calculation.
But some of these other projects that are not directly related to the
The
lift.
dog can be taken, you can take it as
There's no reason you could start at the top and then work your way down towards the village.
No, you could, I mean, we could do anything else, but I'm saying this is now chalking up on an EIA or EIR perspective. But from a business perspective, the village is tied to the village development. Because that will give us additional riders. You know, it's an economic evaluation when you do that. It's not a environmental evaluation. So the two will go in together, yes.
And just to get into what Mr. Dunn about the short
Oh, yeah, so the village EAR, and instead if everything would go perfect, it would be done in October. I don't expect it to be perfect because of the public hearing periods in there, a lot of questioning. We can start construction on the village in the summer of 2009 if the EIR is completed in October. If that EIR is moved by 2 months or 3 months, construction had not started because we have about a 6 to 9 months design period. So if, you know, when you have an EIR approved, you have to be designed, then you start to work with Alpine County to go through design approval. Whenever you have to build a house up here, you know what that process is. It's not something on Monday done by Tuesday. There's a, you know, engineering, load engineering, all that stuff. So we need about 9 months before we actually can put breakdown. And so we need October approval to start putting breakdown in June. If that is missed by 2 or 3 months, we are missing a construction season essentially. Because the design. So on the EIR, obviously the EIR is the county and the public. Again, you have a lot of input there. There is public hearing periods, and you can also help expedite that by working with the county or motioning the county to expedite the process. But that's where the dependency are. Our target is, if everything goes well, to start both in 2009. But I think the linchpin in terms of timing will not be the EA process. I think my gut feel is it's the EIR process, which could take longer. Just a more complicated process. And more involved, and that's the county drives that. Again, it's not us who drives that, it's the county who drives that process. And you need that window for design, start construction. And we'll have that all on the website. Go ahead, sorry.
Putting in the panels to replace it.
We were hoping for this summer, but we weren't able to pull it off. But it is highest on our list.
So possibly next summer, 2009. No, it's depends on the scholarship.
That is independent.
So the village list is one thing, all the other actions are independent, so we can do any one of them at any point in time. That's then, we evaluate what's the priority behind it. Post-action here will give us the approval to actually go forward with the sequencing of it as well as the prioritize. Okay, yes.
Outside the scope of this meeting, going back to the original master plan, what are there major improvements that will take place this summer?
We haven't published yet our summer plan. We're actually working through the priorities, and you'll probably, if you kind of look at my blog, you'll see that hopefully in about a month. We're going to also some significant planning meetings with the management team and with our partners before we publish that. So I really don't want to talk. And I'm not ready yet to talk about it because when I say it, I want to wait. So yes, there will be improvements, but what they are, there might be some elements of this, of the actions in there. So it's not. Yep.
You mentioned a couple of questions, but as far as now I'm concerned, what's more important, the Swiss chalet or the improvements to the existing lodge? What's the timeline? Possible timeline?
I think you'll see most of it in phases. The Swiss chalet is something that should be done. That's not me talking, from my vision. You could start very simple by building a very nice deck with a little one of our molded structures, build the deck for the chalet will be. And then as we get more people coming up here, we start to build that kind of structure behind it in 3, 4, 5 years. So when I look at priorities, from my perspective, the deck is a high priority, the chalet is a lower priority. If I look at what we have to do here, remodeling, that's a high priority. We have a problem here in Israel.
What you're saying is a lot of attention on the pieces.
I haven't said that. I haven't said that.
Check it out.
The question I had to step out for a little bit, but on the new goal, when it comes to we start producing, the runs and stuff, when the people funnel back into town, what are the ways that they're planning on coming back? Because I know there's a lot of private property in here.
Actually, they will not cross private property. They will cross public, common and or public property.
Because like you're talking about coming out of Walnut.
All access roads.
Because I believe isn't just right there in town, that's private property. Where they're talking about
No,
buildings.
so there is, when you look at the map, there is the Forest Service land on one point, actually, where we talk about the thumb, touches, public, open space property.
Yes.
And that's where they go in.
Okay, so I was just wondering because I know that if you ever develop that, that will become a public road. But at this point in time, it's, I was just wondering how
The people who live on Plate Road want to go down Plate Road, that's their private property. But our run will go along private road, and then before private property zone drop down, in Forest Service land, take the right into the open space.
As it drops down, then
The free cycle.
okay, that's all I was wondering about. 'Cause I just know that there's a lot of private property.
We see that it's actually very big open area, very wide, between plate and granite.
Yeah.
And that's where you can,
Go down that little run right there.
up down the free side.
And just to dovetail on that, one of the things that's part of our design criteria for bringing runs into the north boundary of town, which is, the fingers as being called, is we want to make it very clear to the public where they should go, so they're not crossing private property. So it's very clear that when you come down off of the slope, there'll be a funnel that, be very obvious. We're going to remove some trees, so this is where you go. If you go somewhere else, you're going to be in the lot of trees. So it's funneled into the common areas and the open areas so that, you know, we're not encouraging trespass, we're actually making it much easier for people to not.
Because that would be my only concern, as a citizen and as law enforcement, is that, you know, people's going down there, and as a citizen, I get off and I go the wrong way, and I end up with somebody talking because they got a lot of like stuff around Spring Cliff.
We talked about that earlier. We actually, one of the reasons we went to BVRI to get permission to follow after the common area. Right now, that bump is not a local run. It is soft outline. The locals ski it. Okay? And they come out anywhere they sort of know which tree, whatever tree looks good. Open area, common area, and private property. There's a lot of trespassing going on. By taking this action here, we will mark the funnels into the common area. They'll say in signs, no trespassing. So we actually protecting the private homeowners. When people ski through that, and funnel them onto the road, through the common areas, rather than letting us in a free for all. We'll also control it.
I guess my next question would be, is on the common areas, because I know there's a big thing in town with common areas, which ones are BVRIs and which ones are the county?
I think the map is actually pretty clear.
Well, I know, I just know that some of them say, some of them were designated to certain people, and some were designated to other people. Just that the right parties are contacted.
Our contact county, we have already contacted BVRI and have gotten response back, positive response back for BVRI report. Correct, Paul?
That's the vote I saw. Yeah, support this.
Paul is on the board.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's not, so to speak.
You know, the other advantage of allowing skiing through those common areas at the top of the subdivision is people that own the homes at the top of the subdivision can now ski home. The way the configuration is now, you go down lunchtime home run, you still have to take your snowmobile or you got to walk home. So this new lift really doesn't help you in the city and ski out unless we are able to develop better skiing and better funneling of people at the top of the subdivision. So actually with this, everybody who lives in the subdivision, except those who live in the old sub, are going to be able to ski. So that's good.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so I want to just close with two things. Number one, if you have any further comments or suggestions, send me an email, martw@fairvalley.com, or go on the website and use the blog. Just reply to the blog. That's very easy. If you reply to the blog, it would be great to tell me who you are, so that we can actually contact you. If you want to stay, anonymous, that's fine too. Obviously, that's great because then we can contact you. Anybody who hasn't signed in, I don't know where the sign-in sheet is here. Please sign in. With that, you get notified on any future communications. And you get actually proposed action from the Forest Service. They will also go through all the whole ones by
Yes, and then we post it.
But yeah, please give us your comments on the proposed actions or any other comments on the mountain. I'd love to hear from you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. And with that, I'd like to close the meeting and really thank everybody for coming here. There will be another scoping meeting next Sunday, tomorrow in the week, 2 o'clock, same place. Okay? Thanks a lot.